The air in Vila Serena was thick with the scent of jasmine and salt. It was a stark contrast to the bustling city Júlia left behind, a place that now held only painful memories. Scandal had a way of swallowing everything whole, leaving nothing but ashes in its wake. Her family, once a pillar of society, was shattered. Júlia, her heart heavy with the weight of their downfall, sought refuge in the quiet seaside town. The house, perched on a hill overlooking the ocean, seemed to whisper promises of peace. Luisa, the owner, was a woman of quiet strength, her eyes reflecting a depth of understanding that transcended words. She welcomed Júlia with a warm embrace, offering her not just a room, but a sanctuary. The sea breeze whispered through the open windows, carrying with it the faintest hint of hope. Júlia clung to it, a lifeline in a sea of despair. The days that followed were a blur of unpacking and exploring the cobbled streets. Each sunrise brought a flicker of hope, a gentle reminder that life went on. The rhythm of the waves crashing against the shore was a soothing balm to her wounded soul. Vila Serena, with its charm and tranquility, offered a chance to heal, to piece together the fragments of her broken life. Júlia, though still haunted by the past, dared to believe in the possibility of a new beginning. The market square was abuzz with activity. Local vendors proudly displayed their wares, baskets overflowing with colorful fruits, freshly caught fish glistening in the morning sun, and vibrant flowers adding splashes of color to the scene. Júlia, captivated by the lively atmosphere, found herself drawn to a stall piled high with fragrant herbs. "Rosemary for remembrance, lavender for peace," a voice said, its tone laced with a hint of amusement. Júlia looked up, startled, and her gaze met the most captivating pair of green eyes she had ever seen. The stranger, tall and lean with sun-kissed skin and a disarming smile, held out a sprig of lavender. "It seems you could use a bit of both." His words, spoken with such gentle understanding, sent a shiver down her spine. Júlia hesitated for a moment, her heart pounding in her chest, before accepting the lavender. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "Gabriel," he introduced himself, his smile widening. "And you are?" "Júlia," she replied, her fingers toying nervously with the lavender. She couldn't explain the strange sense of familiarity she felt in his presence, a connection that seemed to transcend words. They spent the rest of the morning talking, their conversation flowing effortlessly. He spoke of his life in Vila Serena, his passion for his work at the local vineyard, and his dreams for the future. Júlia found herself drawn to his genuine warmth and easygoing nature. For the first time since the scandal broke, a genuine smile graced her lips. As the days melted into weeks, Júlia found solace in Gabriel's company. Their conversations were filled with laughter, shared dreams, and a growing sense of intimacy. He was a welcome distraction from the turmoil that still lingered within her. His presence, warm and reassuring, was like a balm to her wounded soul. One breezy afternoon, while strolling along the beach, Gabriel took her hand, his touch sending a jolt of electricity through her. "Júlia," he began, his voice husky with emotion, "I know we haven't known each other for long, but He was interrupted by a voice booming from behind them. "Gabriel! There you are! I've been looking everywhere for you." Júlia turned to see a tall, imposing man approaching them. His face, etched with the lines of a life lived on his own terms, seemed vaguely familiar. His eyes, cold and calculating, sent a shiver down her spine. "Father," Gabriel acknowledged, his easy smile faltering slightly. "Júlia, this is my father, Vitor Araujo." The name hit Júlia like a physical blow. Vitor Araujo. The man who had single-handedly orchestrated the downfall of her family. The man who had snatched away their wealth, their reputation, their dignity. The man who had driven her father to an early grave. Blood drained from her face as memories, vivid and painful, flooded her mind. Her father, once so full of life, reduced to a shadow of his former self. Her mother, her spirit broken, struggling to hold on. Their once happy home, now silent and empty. Júlia froze, her breath catching in her throat as the weight of the revelation crashed down upon her. Vitor Araujo, The man who had haunted her nightmares, the architect of her family's ruin, was Gabriel's father. The blood that flowed through Gabriel's veins, the blood that warmed his kind heart and sparked the light in his eyes, was the same blood that tainted the hands of the man who had destroyed her life. The world spun around her, the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore, replaced by a deafening roar in her ears. She stumbled back, her hand instinctively flying to her mouth to stifle a sob. Gabriel, his brow furrowed in concern, reached out to steady her. "Julia, are you all right? What's wrong?" His voice, filled with genuine concern, only deepened the chasm of despair opening within her. How could she explain the storm raging inside her, the conflicting emotions tearing her apart? How could she reconcile the love that blossomed in her heart for Gabriel with the burning hatred she harbored for his father? I need some air," she stammered, her voice trembling with unshed tears. She pulled away from Gabriel's touch, his concerned gaze burning into her like a brand. Without another word, she turned and fled, her feet carrying her blindly down the beach, away from the source of her pain. The image of Vitor Araujo's face, etched with an air of smug satisfaction, was seared into her mind. It was a cruel reminder of the past she had desperately tried to escape, a past that now threatened to consume her present and poison any hope for the future.